Welcome to this informational presentation about the Regional Transportation Authority's Access to Transit Program 2023 Call for Projects. The RTA offers this program to address the lack of funding sources for implementing transit access recommendations from corridor and transit-oriented development plans completed through the RTA's Community Planning Program. Providing facilities for pedestrians and cyclists is a key goal for nearly all the planning projects we work on, and in addition to supporting transit ridership and TOD, these kinds of small-scale capital projects can provide several other benefits, such as safer streets, less traffic congestion, lower demand for parking, more equitable transportation infrastructure, and better first and last mile connection for transit riders. To date, the Access to Transit program has funded 46 projects and leveraged $25.5 million in federal, local, and RTA funds to make these infrastructure improvements. The types of projects that are eligible for the program are those that improve pedestrian and cyclist accessibility to transit services. This includes bus stop infrastructure, rail station improvements, intersection improvements, sidewalk connections, bicycle infrastructure, ADA accessibility improvements, and mobility hub infrastructure. The RTA will also consider other types of projects and facilities not listed here if the applicant can make a reasonable case that they will improve transit access and decrease the use of automobiles. But we recommend that you contact us first with an unconventional proposal. The RTA is seeking applications that request funding for Phase 2 engineering and construction of eligible projects. Once applications seeking funding are selected into the program, RTA staff will combine all selected projects into an application for funding through the Federal Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program, also known as CMAQ. If awarded, federal funds will comprise of 80% of the funding for each Access to Transit project awarded. It's important for applicants to know full funding for Phase 2 engineering and construction of their project is contingent upon the CMAQ application being awarded. Although we've had success in the past obtaining CMAQ funding for this program, it is important to keep in mind that our CMAQ application will be one of many, as it is a very competitive program. We anticipate federal funding awards to be finalized in the summer of 2025. If CMAQ funding is approved, each project will be transferred to its respective sponsoring municipality, and the RTA will support the 20% local match. It's also important to note that applicants are responsible for completing Phase 1 engineering. Projects funded through the program must be directly related to improving access to a specific CTA, Metra, or PACE service, must be within walking distance of transit, and should be recommendations from a plan that's completed or underway. It's not necessary the project is specifically recommended in the plan, simply that the proposed project aligns with plan recommendations. Applicants should be aware that new facilities are prioritized over replacement of existing facilities. Using sidewalk projects as an example, applicants should not propose to replace existing sidewalks because they are uneven. However, applicants could apply for new sections of sidewalk or replacements of sidewalks if existing facilities are so deteriorated that they are unusable. The RTA focuses on small-scale infrastructure projects. Therefore, project budgets must be between $150,000 and $1 million to be eligible. As mentioned, the CMAQ program will provide 80% of the project funding. The RTA will share the 20% local match with the applicant in most cases. However, in cases of municipalities with proven financial hardship, the RTA will contribute the entire 20% local match. Eligibility is determined according to the Community Cohort Evaluation tool developed by CMAP. If you're unsure whether your municipality qualifies, you can find more information on the CMAP website. Phase 1 engineering is required for all projects to be eligible under CMAQ funding. Even if improvements are being built on a local roadway and within existing right-of-way, You must follow the Illinois Department of Transportation's engineering approval process because CMAQ funds flow through the state of Illinois. Selected applicants must already have Phase 1 engineering complete, underway, or initiate the process upon the RTA's notification of acceptance into the Access to Transit program. Phase 1 must be fully complete and have an IDOT determination letter by November 2024 to be considered for full Phase 2 and construction funding. Applicants are responsible for all Phase 1 engineering costs. To address a frequent municipal barrier to completing Phase 1 engineering, the RTA will accept applications for Phase 1 engineering only funding from municipalities of moderate need or higher. Eligible applicants can be awarded up to $55,000 of the cost associated with developing Phase 1 engineering for bicycle and pedestrian improvements, completely funded by the RTA with no local match requirement. Projects must be the same improvement types as those seeking Phase 2 engineering and construction, and Phase 1 engineering is allocated exclusively for municipalities with lower tax bases or median incomes, based on the economic and demographic characteristics of the area served. Phase 1 engineering only projects are a much quicker process than Phase 2 engineering and construction projects previously discussed. Once selected, applicants will enter into an agreement with the RTA for the expected cost of Phase 1 engineering. Applicants can either complete the engineering internally, requesting reimbursement for staff time, or procure an engineering firm to complete the work. It's important to note that Phase 1 funding comes entirely from the RTA and will not be included in the RTA CMAQ application. Once Phase 1 is complete, the applicant will need to find funding for Phase 2 engineering and construction and will be eligible to apply to the RTA for funding in future calls. Moderate to high need eligibility is determined according to the Community Cohort Evaluation Tool developed by CMAP. If you're unsure whether your municipality qualifies, you can find more information on the CMAP website or contact us at the RTA. This year's call for projects opens on October 16th and will close on December 15th. We offer a generous window of time for potential applicants to consider feasible projects and put together the information required in the application. Application selections will be made in late February. Applicants selected for Phase 2 engineering and construction funding should ensure their Phase 1 engineering is complete by November 2024. Applicants selected for Phase 1 engineering can begin the work once an agreement is executed with the RTA. The next CMAQ call for projects is tentatively slated to open in October and close December 2024. During this time, the RTA will submit a funding application for the Phase 2 engineering and construction projects. CMAQ applications will be reviewed during the first several months of 2025 with preliminary selections in May. CMAQ awards are anticipated to be finalized in July 2025, which is the time Phase 2 engineering and construction projects will be fully funded. Applicants applying for Phase 2 engineering and construction projects should have the following documentation ready before starting the application: the name of the plan that includes a recommended project and the URL to where RTA staff can find the plan, the status of Phase 1 engineering, estimate of project costs including Phase 1, Phase 2 engineering and construction, a project location map and concept plan, and a statement of municipal support. This could come in the form of a letter from your mayor or an elected official. Applicants applying for Phase 1 engineering only should have the following documentation ready before starting the application: the name of the plan that makes a recommendation for the proposed project and the URL to where RTA staff can find the plan, the estimate of project costs to conduct Phase 1 engineering, a project location map and concept plans, and a statement of municipal support. This could come in the form of a letter from your mayor or elected official. Now that we've gone over the details of the program, we'd like to offer some guidance on what makes a successful project. We first suggest that you review recommendations from relevant planning documents, as they are often grounded in community feedback and data. Another point to consider is a project's ability to positively affect transit ridership and replace automobile trips through walking and biking. These criteria are important to CMAQ scoring and something we heavily consider in our selection process. Projects that have the potential to improve high ridership transit services or impact areas with high population or employment densities are also favorable. You should also consider the readiness and feasibility of the project. Some applicants may have projects that have already completed Phase 1 engineering and are waiting to move into the design stage, or projects that have been discussed at length with the community but haven't yet received funding. These are also favorable because they have already been vetted to a certain extent. Finally, the project must be related to transit facilities, like warming shelters, transit station bike parking, and any improvements that directly touch transit facilities. Please discuss your application with the affected service board, CTA, Metra, or PACE prior to submitting. They may have certain design requirements or overlapping plans already in place. Coordinating with the service boards before you apply will save time in the long run and possibly help your chances of being selected. If you need help reaching out to the service boards, RTA staff can help put you in contact with the right person. If your Phase 2 and construction project is selected to the Access to Transit program and then awarded CMAQ funds, ownership of the project is transferred to the sponsoring municipality. Municipalities are expected to manage their project to completion in partnership with their planning liaison and according to the standards established by CMAP, IDOT, and the RTA. Municipalities will also need to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the RTA to confirm the funding obligations and project management expectations. Awardees are required to submit quarterly updates to the RTA. As the work of your project progresses, you will be responsible for fronting the entire local share of the project costs by paying engineering and IDOT invoices. Once paid, you may seek reimbursement from the RTA. Invoices should be submitted in increments over the course of the project, either quarterly or at significant project milestones. If your Phase 1 engineering only application is selected to the Access to Transit program, you will enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the RTA to confirm the funding obligations and project management expectations. Municipalities are expected to manage their project to completion and according to IDOT requirements. Awardees are also required to submit quarterly updates to the RTA. As the work of your project progresses, you'll be responsible for fronting engineering invoices. Once paid, you may seek reimbursement from the RTA. Invoices should be submitted in increments over the course of the project, either quarterly or at significant project milestones. For more information, including application materials, please visit our website at www.rtachicago.org/A2T. Thank you for your interest in the RTA's Access to Transit program.